Hello scholars, welcome to another week of review. Today we're going to work on multi-step word problems and specifically ones that include bullet points of information. So this first problem says Juan took a survey of 30 students in his class. Half of the students own a dog, 2/3 of those dog owners also own a cat, 8 students have neither cats nor dogs, the remaining students own a cat. How many students own a cat? And so this problem might look familiar to you, and it should because it was on your CFA. This is a problem that a lot of us got incorrect, so let's take it step by step. The first thing we need to do is study that problem and look at the question. I am looking for just the number of people who own a cat. In order to do that, I need to determine all of the other information before that. So next, I'm going to pick out my key information. I'm going to organize my facts. I know that there are 30 total students in the class. I see that half of the students own a dog. Right away, I'm going to take the word and I'm going to rewrite that as the actual number. So I can clearly see that's a half. The next one I have is 2/3 of the dog owners also own a cat. I'm going to write 2/3. Always turn the words into the actual numbers. 8 students don't have an animal, a cat or a dog, and the remaining students own a cat. So when I see that word remaining, I'm going to put, I know I'm going to have to subtract something. Okay, so now let's line up my plan and solve. But first, sometimes with these problems, we can draw a picture to help us out. So first, I know there's 30 students, and sometimes this might take a little longer, but visually it's going to help. So now I've drawn the class of 30 students. Take a minute and pause this in order for you to draw those two. So now I'm going to divide up this class in half because half own a dog. So half of 30 is 15. 5, 10, 15. So all of these people right here own a dog. Now the next part is 2/3 of the dog owners, not of the whole class. So now that I have all of these dog owners, I'm going to break them up into 2/3. So in order to figure out the exact amount, I want 2/3 of the 15 dog owners. Again, a fraction of a total I can multiply. I get 30 divided by 3, which gives me 10. So this group right here owns a cat as well. I have 8 students that don't own anything. And all these rest right here, these are my cat owners. Okay, so now I have to figure out, and I know that these are the cats because it says the remaining. So all these leftovers are cats. And now I needed to figure out how many students own a cat. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 students that only own a cat. But remember, these ones up here in green also owned a cat with their dog. So that was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So there are 17 students that own a cat. I hope this helped breaking it down. Again, use a picture if you can. Otherwise, go through and determine the fraction of the total by multiplying. Alright, solve this problem using the same strategy that we just did on your own. Draw a picture if you need to, and work through each bullet point. Alright, so I first drew 24 little people, since that is the total amount. Next, I'm going to write out my words of numbers as the number, so I see 3/8 ate hamburgers and hot dogs. 1/4 of the guests brought a dessert. And the rest of the guests brought a snacks, which signals me to subtract. Okay, for this first one, if I know 3/8 of the hamburgers, or 3/8 of the guests brought hamburgers, that's telling me I need to break my total people up into groups of eighths. So if I look now, I've broken my 24 people up into 8 groups. Now only 3 actually brought hamburgers and hot dogs. So if I count that up, I have 3, 6. So 9 people bought hamburgers and hot dogs. To show you mathematically how to do this, because sometimes pictures always won't work if they're really big numbers, I'm going to take the fraction. It's 3/8 of, multiply, my total people. Multiply straight across, we get 72 over 8, and 72 over 8 equals 9. So with the picture, this is how we also represent it mathematically. All right, so now I have 1/4 of the guests brought dessert. That means I'm breaking my total amount of people into groups of 4. And it's 1/4 of the entire group. So I'm going to say this group of 4 is going to bring dessert, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, mathematically, that would be 1/4 of the total amount times 24 equals 24 over 4, which equals 6, which is what we got from our diagram. Now it says the rest brought a snack. So the rest means I need to subtract. So this was step 1, this was step 2. Step 3 is to take my total amount, 24. Let's first subtract the 9, which is the number of people that brought hamburgers. So that's going to be 15. Now I need to continue to subtract and take away the people that brought a dessert. And 15 minus 6 is 9. So 9 people brought a snack. At this point, if you still have a question, raise your hand for help. All right, either with a picture or mathematically, solve this problem now. So after reading this question, I can see that after everything at the mall, I want to know again how much she has left. Here, which is also great, is that I'm given the fractions in actual numbers. So 2/5 of the money, so of the $30, was on a purse. 1/2 of what was left. So this means what was left is going to come from above. So let's go ahead, and I'm not going to draw a picture this time. I'm just going to go through mathematically. So my first step is to figure out how much was on a purse. So she spent 2/5 of, which means multiply, her money. So of 30. Can multiply it. I get 60 over 5, which gives me $12. So she spent $12 on her purse. The second step is I have half of, but here, again, of means multiply, it's not her money that she went with, it's what was left after she bought that purse. So I need to do an extra step over to the side here. I had $30. She had $30. She spent $12 on a purse, which means now she only has $18. So the half of what was left is going to be half of 18. And I get 18 over 2, which is the same thing as 9. So $9 was spent at the food court. And lastly, The third one, there's no calculation. I just know that $5 went to her friend. Okay, so I now need to take everything that she has spent today. So she spent $12 on the purse, $9 at the food court, and $5 to her friend. So when I add all of that up, I get $26. So she spent or has given away $26. I need to know what she has left. So I'm going to subtract 30 minus 26. So she has $4 left for herself. And as always, if you are confused at all, raise your hand for help. Alright, solve this last problem now. Alright, when I look at this problem, there is a lot going on. So I see that we have chocolate cake and vanilla cake. There's things happening to both cakes, so I'm going to go ahead and break my paper up into a chocolate cake section and a vanilla cake section. So just looking at, to go to the question, after Miss Douglas cuts the cakes, I want to know which has the larger slice. So let's take out the information from my chocolate cake. I see that there was 1/4 of the chocolate cake left. So that's my starting point for my chocolate cake. I see that 2/3 of the vanilla cake was left. So I'm going to start that for my vanilla cake. Next, I have the bullet points that break down my problem. It should say she cuts. So she cuts the remaining chocolate into 3 slices. And if we're thinking about cutting, if I'm cutting the cake up and I'm splitting it up, that means I'm going to divide what was left, the 1/4, by 3 or 3/1. It should be she cuts, again, the vanilla into 6 slices. So I'm taking what was left of the vanilla, and breaking it up into 6 slices or 6/1. From here we just have a basic division of fractions. So we keep, change, flip. So each slice of the chocolate is 1/12 size. And the next one, keep, change, flip. I get 2/18, which simplifies down to 1/9. So if I look and see that I have 1/12 for the chocolate and 1/9, even though they don't have same denominators, I know if I break something up into 12 pieces, that's going to be smaller than if I break it up into 9 pieces. So my vanilla is going to end up with the larger slice.